Now what went down, I don't believe, and I just know I can't conceive. I'm searching. When love is gone and one believes that love will come like brand new leaves, I'm searching. And then the day when I will say that my soul lives a truthful way, I'm searching. Say butterfly up in the sky, I got a story to say, and I'll tell you why I'm searching.
This is the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, your destination for the best in social and political straight talk. And now, here's your host, Miss Tanya Free.
Today is Wednesday, May 2nd. Welcome to the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show. I am Tanya Free, joined by my wonderful friends. Van Nevels, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm not going to complain on this beautiful day.
I wouldn't want to hear it if you did,
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
because I love you.
Uh-huh. And also with us is Sherrod Brown. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing good, friend.
Good.
Thank you for being here today.
Anytime.
Thank you,
Always
thank
a
you.
pleasure.
And also with us is Dr. West. How are you, Doc?
I'm good. Things are very well today.
Well,
Going
good.
well.
Can't complain. You're not on the lake somewhere fishing. So thank
Oh,
you
I
for
could-
making time for us.
It is time for fishing. But I could be doing some other things as well. But when you invited me, it was just like, I've got to come.
Thank you.
Got
Thank
to come.
you.
Thanks for having
I
me.
appreciate that. And on this side of the track is Marcus Evans. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me here.
Well, thank you so much for being here on this side of the track.
On this
you know,
side.
you normally on
Yes.
the other side.
There you go.
And also with us is Niles Johnson, Noah Johnson, and Mr. Free. And we have a guest in the house, Frida Johnson. She may want to jump in every now and then. Just say hello to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
There you go. There you go. We get you warmed up a little bit. I want to thank you all for being here today, and we want to truly thank all of our listening friends from coast to coast for being here. Hope that you would join the conversation. Phone lines are open, 804-321-1010. Our toll-free number, 844-321-1010. Or you can text us at Tanya Free 63975, or download the TuneIn app to listen to us on your mobile phone by dialing 712-832-2784. Thanks to our friends at AM/FM 247. And also, too, you can hear us we're streaming live on video, YouTube, Ustream, TV, Periscope, Twitter, Facebook. Check us out on any of those, by any of those means. So we're here. Well, let's get started. Very unpleasant conversations today. We're going to talk about Bill Cosby. We're going to talk about Kanye and his comments last night. When I heard it, I couldn't believe it. So I don't want to get jump start on that. But let's deal with Bill Cosby first, who was convicted of sexual assault last week. And this time around, the jurors, I've heard several interviews, and they're saying that his deposition is really what convicted him. And after reading excerpts of his deposition, I agree with that. I agree with it 100%. A lot of us, and I'm guilty of it as well, have fallen in love with the Huxtable. What is Cliff Huxtable? And I raised the question as to whether or not we can separate the art from the actual person. And
Yes, without a doubt.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree to a certain extent,
Yeah,
because it's been throughout the years false, not even false. It's just the people's
Accusations.
personal lives have interfered with their professional in terms of that. But the main thing, when you build yourself up in Cosby's case, he was built up to be this judge of the what's right and what's wrong.
well, the father figure,
Right.
of the African American.
Yeah, and I was about to say he is also something looked at as something of a spokesperson for that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Right.
But that's not necessarily, that wasn't his aspiration so much as it was thrust upon him. You dig?
Explain what you're
Okay.
saying.
He ascended to a level and had a demeanor such that this person has class, he's educated, he's got what are perceived to be, good morals, that kind of thing. So when you have all of those things coming together over one person, you don't aspire to be a spokesperson in that case. But it's well, you everything that they say we ain't. So now you speak to an extent.
Do you remember those talks he had about berating people for way they live it?
And I am sort of. I'm alluding to that as well.
You're right, because we know him as Fat Albert, in addition to Huxtable, but I Spy. Because even in I Spy, he was seen more of as the black man.
He was a token black guy, but he wasn't the black man.
In that day and time, and then he, like you said, he went to Fat Albert, and then we went to the Huxtable. That made him the father figure. We're like, black. Especially we were watching.
It was white kids looking at him like dad,
right? Because we were watching stuff like Good Times, and then to see this was a educated college father figure, wonderful family. That changes the dynamics of things altogether.
Something of a Sasquatch or a UFO sighting, in as much as black folks have been portrayed up to that point, and even now. They think about black folks as being like Good Times, being like Martin, being like this kind of thing.
Right.
And my immediate thing, and especially the way I come off, the way I talk, people want to think that about me, like, you're just trying to be white. No, I know how to speak. My mother required me to be able to speak well when I'm in public, that kind of thing. And the thought behind that is that splitting verbs in front of your friends is one thing. But if you split verbs in front of the wrong people, that destroys your credibility from there on out.
But going back to the images between Good Times and the Huxtables.
Yeah.
That here's a guy that's living in fancy part of Philadelphia, physician, married to a lawyer.
Right.
Exactly.
Got the big house,
Right.
got all the friends.
Children are doing well.
The only
they are a
thing,
menace to society.
the only thing
Again, normal black folks that are not showing up on TV talking about, I had seen it.
But the thing is that when you look at that image and that family, it tended to be more white, obviously.
Don't say that.
Oh, I mean, come on.
Don't say
but
that.
That may be the reason.
Whoa.
Come
Why
on.
that has to be white? Wait a minute.
Because we live in a white
Whoa.
country, and that's how white folks generally live.
Look at the images that they portrayed.
They
weren't worried about
American
eating.
family.
They were talking about taking vacations, new cars.
Okay, I guess that bothers me when you say white. I don't consider that to be white. Why can't that be?
Let's call it majority. Just call the images that they presented. I believe the one of the formulas for success or factors.
Formula for success. That's what it is, but not white.
But see, that's how they. But this is, as Van says, this is a white society, and so that the images were more easily accepted. And I think Van just mentioned that there were a lot of white, or maybe Marcus just mentioned that there were a lot of white kids looking at it.
No, that was me, and they did. Again, he did transcend race. That was over.
Okay, that I agree with. That I agree with.
Those white kids weren't looking at Good Times.
Oh, I understand that. Okay. I don't like
I rest my case.
You have to look at how even black TV has sort of transitioned over time. So while it was probably more entertaining to see shows like Good Times and what is it? I'm trying to think of the one with the car and the son, Stanford and Son.
Yes.
Those types of shows, those typically represented who we were, as a people. So when you see something like
that's blue collar versus white collar.
Correct. And so it became a little bit more accepted. That they begin to reveal this particular family as, that family.
Right.
And I don't necessarily know that I agree with it agree with it as being white versus it just wasn't the most popular thing as far as entertainment in many households, until we saw that transition of the Cosby Show.
Right.
Because there are plenty of, black families even before that time who lived sort of maybe similar, but it wasn't something that was popular.
And it wasn't something that could be portrayed on TV.
Correct.
In such a way that it is entertaining.
Right.
And getting back to what I was saying, I talk to white folks, I talk to certain white people, and they make comments about how I speak and that kind of thing. And I look at them like, did you think that The Cosby Show was a creation by George Lucas? It is literally out of this universe? Really? You think so? Drive 100 miles to D.C., go to Maryland. There are brothers and sisters up there that are playing the game and winning. And they sound like not the dude down at the corner store. Okay, so don't let that programming, which is exactly what it is. You think about Sanford and Son, you think about Good Times, and so on and so on. The more blue collar aspect, that ain't everybody.
No, it's not.
Just
Yeah.
as the white folks portrayed on Cops
But the
Ain't
thing
Y'all.
is, Good Times, was a show that white folks or folks wanted to stereotype us by.
And let's not forget the Jeffersons.
Yeah, you're right. The Jeffersons was more so a start to what we were seeing with regards to Cosby. You know, it was like, okay, you've seen us in a positive light, doing well. You wouldn't call that show as being white.
No, you
No,
definitely
but-
wouldn't, because
But why-
it was
but
a
what's the
spinoff
difference?
of
Why is
Archie
that?
Bunker.
But going back to the issue, the fact that Cosby was convicted shocked everybody, and you have to go back and figure out for what reason.
Well, it didn't
Now,
shock
let
me.
me finish.
No, it didn't shock
Let me
me.
ask you one question. Now, if JJ had been slipping Mickeys to women, you know,
Does that make
for
that more
sex,
believable?
But no, does it make the shock? Does it make the shock different?
No, because yes, it does.
Yes, it
because
does.
because JJ
I'm sorry.
and Cosby are two different people. Like I said, I had fallen in love with Cliff Huxtable.
The image of Cliff,
Right,
what he
Cliff
stood for.
Huxtable. Whereas JJ is more of the street, you know, poor, black, you know, that sort of thing. What people want us to, you know,
So
the stereotypical black person that we see. You know, when you watch the news and a crime or something happened, you say they find the worst person they can put on camera. And you're like, gosh, of all people you put
And
on
they don't
camera.
represent all of us.
Right,
But
exactly.
that is what is
that's
entertaining.
right, but that's
You know, that's
JJ.
what's been
But
accepted.
then when
That's
one is
the
a
JJ.
hero, saves people, and talks intelligently, they make for sure they don't put him on the air too much.
Right,
I'm
the
talking
Shaw
about
guy, the Shaw guy. Right,
They
you're
made
right.
for sure he didn't.
How you
They
only
don't hit him as
a
much as
handful of
they could.
times and what 1 week and that's it. We have James Shaw,
Right. They
the
hit
guy
him
that
as
saved the
much as they
folks in
possibly
the Waffle House last
Waffle
week.
House.
Right, where is he? You're right.
Right.
Well, let's look at the news and who they picked on the on the scene witness of some incident. It's always someone that's going to portray. Yeah, I had seen exactly what happened and blah blah blah.
That's
You know,
my point.
Right.
And either
That's
that
my
or
point.
It's some country white woman
But I
with
wanted
a
to get
camel
back to
toe
one
hanging
thing
out.
about Mr. Cosby. He also, in his private life, made some judgmental statements, whether they were right or wrong,
In a big way.
about black folk.
And
Whether
what-
it's
and how
being
they're
on
naming
time,
themselves,
how they
that kind of
dress,
thing.
how they name themselves.
Well, I
professionally.
think he
But that- and that
piggybacked
set
off
him
of that
up. That set him
Cliff
up to be-
Huxtable thing.
Yeah, but still,
He
it
was
his
he was
personal
able to
life.
see he was able to
his
see
personal
that
life.
okay, I can capitalize on this even further by me being the role model that everybody sees me as, Cliff Huxtable. That okay, you can look down on everybody else or folks that are not like, you know.
Would you say that Bill Cosby as Cliff Huxtable was able to do things that other folks couldn't do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
I think it does
absolutely.
impact
But
because
drugging-
again, it goes back to the
Well,
original. Go.
No, I was just saying, and the Hollywood Access bus that had your boy 45 on it, he said the same thing. He said, "I'm famous. I can do whatever I want to."
Right, and where is
Same
he?
thing.
Why isn't he in court? Or
Oh, we haven't
the
gotten to that.
Weinstein. There's a lot. I don't want to talk about him until you get court. He be convicted.
Well,
Get to
something.
that.
we want to talk
something.
about privilege, though. That's all I wanted to talk about. That you can
And
do
that's-
these
and that is the
kinds of
perfect
same
word,
things
too. It is the
and
perfect
not
word.
get convicted of
Right.
anything. Weinstein and it's somebody else too. That's and they're besides 45 that they had in this article, and they've done all the same things as far as abusing women, and none of them have been convicted. All
Right.
No, none of them have been convicted. They've laid down without a fight. Tom Brokaw is the latest one.
Right.
You got Matt Lauer.
Right.
The accusation just came out. Then you've got.
But are they going to jail?
No, they ain't going to jail because there was never any trial. There was
Right,
never-
where's the
it
trial?
was the
Right,
accusation
exactly.
and
Where
that
is
was
the trial?
it.
Why is
But a
that?
lot
Why
of
is
these
it that there
it's
isn't a
kept-
trial?
I think it's deliberate that it's kept quiet.
do you
Again,
mean?
I think the focus is more on what is popular. And stories about us seem to be more popular. especially-
Negative stories
Negative
about
stories
us
about us seem
are
to be more
popular.
popular.
Yes.
Oh, without a doubt, that goes along with the program.
And back to, if you look at the original question about, can we like the character? Sure we can. There's clear lines of delineation between the character and
than
then
the
the person
reality.
as an individual,
Okay.
because that is what's been portrayed. And so people tend to gravitate toward that image, that they hold, in high esteem.
So the question is, can we watch the Huxtable or the
Yeah, I
show
was just
now
watching
But
that
without
last week.
and
now
separate?
moving forward, does everybody have the same view? After knowing and then hearing new information that we weren't privy to before, then do you still have the same feelings? Can you still support and draw the line down, in the middle of the sand?
So you would agree with taking that show off of the air?
How I feel about it? No, let me say this: not taken off the air because not
Other
everybody.
characters are impacted by that if they did remove it.
I'm sorry?
Other characters,
absolutely.
other
Absolutely.
actors, impacted
Right.
if it was
Who we've
removed
not
altogether.
seen since, but anyway.
I guess I say no. You don't have to take it off the air because not everybody feels the same way. You got folks that can separate the two. I personally will not watch it
I don't have
because
to.
I have a hard time
So-
separating
So
the
it's
two.
so if it's on a cable channel, you have the choice whether to look at it or not.
Right.
Whereas
Just
some
like
are
you have-
advocating that because of certain people, they want to take it off altogether.
No, I
You
don't
don't
think we
agree
need
with
to take
that?
it off altogether. No, because like you said, it impact other folks that will get paid, and it shouldn't penalize other people,
Now
other
let's
characters.
take a kind of a superficial look, a small look, and compare and contrast Bill Cosby with this thing, with Woody Allen. Woody Allen
You're
is
right.
Woody Allen is
You're
supposed
right.
to be making a comeback, ain't he?
You're right, and
And
he
for those
definitely.
of you who don't
well,
know-
you know what? I'm not watching Woody Allen for a different reason. He's already said he don't care about us.
Well, that
From
ain't
that
that ain't
standpoint.
nothing new. So you can't fall
Well,
back
no,
on
I'm
that.
saying
and be like,
I'm saying from that standpoint.
Okay.
I am not watching Woody Allen in addition to his other, sexual,
Well, let's
actual
just say,
allegations.
when it comes to Woody Allen, some people like to raise rabbits. And Woody Allen chooses to raise something else. And if you have to answer what I'm talking about.
Well, let me ask you.
Another thing, speaking of people in the show, it's always been curious to me that none of the women that were in the show have come to his defense or said anything happened to them or did not happen to them. So I wonder, are they being made to be quiet or?
That's a good question. Let's talk
That's
about it
a
after
very
the break.
good question.
Today's praise break is Wade in the Water by Ramsey Lewis, sponsored by the Metropolitan Day School where Eagles soar. We'll be right back.
My name is Miera White, and I'm here with the Black History Moment. A daughter of slaves, Ida B. Wells was born in Holly Springs, Mississippi, July 16, 1862. A journalist, Wells led an anti-lynching crusade in the United States in 1890s and went on to found and become an integral groups in striving for African-American justice. She once refused to give up her rail car seat for a white man in 1884 and bit a conductor on the hand when he tried to force her. She was dragged off the train. She sued the railroad and initially won, but the decision was overturned. Ida B. Wells died in 1931 in Chicago, Illinois.
Put your business on the map for a lot less than you might think with Freedom Marketing. Text the word advertise to 63975 or give them a call at 844-321-1010. That's Freedom Marketing, 844-321-1010.
This is Tanya Free, inviting you to check out the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, your destination for the best in social and political straight talk, here coast to coast on the AM/FM 247 radio network and the AM/FM 247 television network. Join the conversation.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, Wednesdays.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
Conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
Welcome back to the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show. Let me read a text. Tom says, he's asking a question. Would you watch if he was white? No, I still wouldn't watch. It's no different. I think it's the same thing.
I think we're missing the point here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he's making
Tom's
it racial.
missing the point.
Yeah,
but that's what Tom
he's
does.
making it racial.
Yeah, that's not what it's about. Really, it's right, wrong.
Right, exactly.
Right and wrong.
Exactly. We were just talking during the break. You said Heaven is one of. I think it's the show where there were some sexual allegations against the lead character, who was a father figure, I believe. And I think they took the show off, if I'm not mistaken. You know, and in my opinion, but they probably took it off for the mere fact to save image. You know, certain cultures like to save their image. Why they won't do it with 45, I don't know. But in this instance, I believe
it's still going on. That's why.
Meaning investigations?
I mean, it's still going on with with
45 is special. I mean, he really is, because he can.
Not like Jerry's Kid special, y'all. It's a different kind of special before y'all call it.
Kind of like Jerry Falwell, but
now.
he's special in that he can do things for people that they're happy about, and they just ignore his little picadillos.
Anytime a religious organization or religious group,
the religious right is
talking about
everything.
we can give him a mulligan.
Right, the religious rights is
I don't know.
everything.
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know.
And they're doing it because
gets no mulligan.
he can appoint judges that'll go along with what they want.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta pay the piper in order to play the music.
What's his name? Gorsuch changed his dynamics on, was it 2 weeks ago? He went against, was it an immigration case of some sort? I can't remember exactly what it was.
Exactly.
But yeah, he did not go along.
Lower courts that he's filling.
I know.
Right. So that's going along with the agenda to the point they say, well, it's just Trump. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say the name. It's just 45.
Don't mention his name. Like I said, until we can, get some sort of.
Get rid of him? Okay.
Say what?
Get rid of him? Impeach, I mean.
Ooh, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, vote out then.
Vote out, yes.
A classic strategy many presidents.
I agree with that's not going. I don't believe it's going to happen either.
No, let's vote him out. Then.
A classic strategy that many presidents, save Obama, will employ in order to maintain their job and their legacy is to have someone as vice president worse than them. Think about that.
Well, when you think about who's the vice president,
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Contemporaneously, but back when who was George Bush the first vice president?
The young guy.
It wasn't Quayle. It wasn't Dan Quayle. Was
Yeah,
it?
Dan Quayle, right.
Yes, Lord. See, that's perfect.
Yeah,
right
when
there.
you said that, I'm like, I could see his hair, the red hair. That's all I could think of. Yeah.
So that's
Red
a
hair.
classic strategy to keep
So
yourself.
that's how you do it. Okay.
Yeah.
But I would not underestimate Pence.
Underestimate him in which way, shape, or form.
The thing is that you implied that Pence is a lesser in terms of the.
That's exactly what I'm not implying by that.
But
Did you hear what I said?
going back to the agenda that Marcus has talked about, that Trump is running.
Right.
Pence is even more capable in running that same
Right.
agenda.
Well, he's
Exactly.
and he's a politician.
Right. He has experience. You're right. That makes a world of difference.
yeah.
And he's not, stupid like what we're dealing
So
with
he
now.
might be a
What
little
we're
bit
dealing with now
better
is
at
totally
playing politic
ignorant.
game.
Nah,
Because
but
he's a
And
politician.
also too,
But what you're gonna lose
he
in the
would cater
process.
more to the evangelicals because
Absolutely.
he has that
He has very strong religious views
beliefs. Right,
rather than-
exactly. So yes, we would be up a creek. I mean, shown up.
So
That's what
that's
I'm just
not
gonna say it,
necessarily the
shown
lesser
up.
of two evils. Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Is that from what's the name of that show we were talking about?
Yeah, I go back and forth a little bit. Yeah, it gets to
That
me.
was the Huxtable.
No, that
Okay.
was probably Good Times.
Good times.
Well, let me do this. I want to read some of the deposition in a newspaper article that I found to be some of the excerpts from it. Hold on just a minute, put my glasses on. Because a lot of the jurors said that the deposition was allowed, I believe, in this particular trial for the mere fact that they were able to, I guess, how the legal term, able to get it admitted into the
They used it to
case.
impeach his testimony? I didn't pay attention to the trial.
Well,
but they were able to-
the judge allowed it. Hold on a second. Let me find the article, this section. Because they thought it was sealed and was not. A federal judge unsealed a 62-page memorandum of law in the case. So this particular time around, the deposition, I guess, was admitted in this particular case,
They gave
whereas
it to the jury.
before it was not. So, and they thought it was sealed, and it was not sealed. And I agree. If you read the deposition, it was a lot of things he said. He was very detailed about a lot of the affairs and things that he was doing to women.
Based on what you read, had you been sitting on the jury, would you have convicted Cosby?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And
I feel
Would
very strong.
would you have convicted him on the merits of what he did or alleged to do based on that alone, or are you getting some female payback because men suck?
that's a great question.
And be real with this now. Come on.
That's a great question.
You might be
Okay,
talking
let
to
me
the wrong
let me
two.
let me
Oh,
let
no,
me
no,
let me
That's not the opinion of most necessarily. I think that maybe there are some women who typically are very stereotypical, probably because of their experiences,
Without it-
and
well,
they
yeah.
are unable to. But I think again, you're looking at right and wrong
Exactly.
with a line down the middle of the sand here, and either way, I wasn't privy to all of it, so we were relying on.
Yeah, my thing is I would have been fair. I would have been fair because I do believe that not all of those women were assaulted. Even when they had them on CNN and they looked like there was some, it's one of the women that you see her, she pops up anytime that, there is a case or something.
Gloria Allred.
Already.
Yeah.
That's the attorney. Not her. No.
the
I'm
attorney,
talking about one of the women that were accusing Cosby. And I can
Omarosa?
see.
Well, she's always popping
I'm
up.
surprised she won. I'm surprised she wanted it, but no, it's another one that is always in something. Anytime there's a man is being accused of something, I cannot think of her name. But when I saw her, I'm like,
Aunt Esther from
okay, stop it. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. But anyway, no, I would have been fair, and like you said, right is right, and wrong is wrong. Because yes, there are some women that will, say a man did something and they didn't, and
Based on their personal experiences,
right?
And those are the ones that probably hate all men,
right?
But
Exactly, that's where I feel for men have to protect themselves
Exactly.
against women like that, because now what's the brother and I bring his name up all the time. Is it Darren Hawkins, I believe, the football player that was
Darren
accused?
Sharper? Local
No,
guy?
it wasn't. No, he was accused of raping this girl, and he was, his career was taken off.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Right, and they're getting ready to do a movie. I think it's Jay-Z is getting ready to do a movie. I believe. I'm not.
And
no.
the girl that
Came back. She got paid, and then
it was
came
a
back.
false accusation.
Right, exactly. And to this day, I feel for him. That she screwed up his life and his career.
Which is why men, you all need to carry around a specially
Stop,
prepared
stop,
legal brief,
stop,
so that during the situation, can I get your?
Brian, what?
Can I
Brian,
get your
that's
signature
right. That's
here,
his name.
please, and initial here and here.
Who's doing the movie? Is it Jay-Z or is it? If y'all can find that, so we can have it next time. Niles, you can look that up to tell me who's doing the movie of Brian Banks. Yeah.
Well, last year, one of the running backs from one of the best teams in the NFL got suspended for 6 games on unsubstantiated charges. He roughed up
Versus someone like Ben Roethlisberger.
so
Exactly.
Okay.
yeah, but Ben could get away with it.
Hold
Not
on.
other people.
No. Justice is portrayed as a woman with a scale and blindfolded. Okay. That's
Isn't
the
she peeking
portrayal.
one eye? Isn't she peeking out of one eye?
Not as far as you know. Okay.
Van, you sure of yourself today, aren't you?
I'm
Okay.
reasonably sure of myself on a regular
Well,
basis.
let me
Even when
read
I'm
let me
wrong.
read some of the transcript, and you tell me what you have convicted him. Okay, they said the transcript he described in great detail his sexual encounters. Let me find the part where.
Can I get the lights turned down a little bit and maybe some music?
Okay, this is the young woman that he paid, Miss Conrad. First spotting her at Temple University in the early 2000s. Mr. Cosby said he felt romantic interest immediately. She's good looking. This is what he said. He began a relationship that led, in his telling, to dinners and more. Inviting her to his house, talking to her about personal situations, dealing with her life, growth, and education. Early in his courtship, he arranged an intimate meal alone with her in his Pennsylvania home, complete with cognac, dim lights, and a fire, he said. At one point, he led her to his back porch, out of the sight of the chef.
Sounds like a mentor.
Mm-hmm. Well, no.
Sounds like a sugar daddy to me.
How old was she?
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. What is her age? Was she a student at the college?
No, she was a coach. She was a basketball coach.
Okay.
Yeah, that she was a basketball coach. This is where he spotted her. Hold on a second.
There's a whole lot of. Go ahead.
Okay. Yet the association endured for a few years until one night at his Pennsylvania home, where he drugged her and molested her. Mr. Cosby said he gave her 1.5 tablets of Benadryl to relieve stress. They kissed and had sexual contact. Her lawyer said she believed it was a much more powerful drug. Now, tell me, isn't Benadryl for like allergies and colds and that sort of thing?
That's some over-the-counter. That ain't, not that I would know.
I'm just telling you what the transcript said.
Benadryl, it's a histamine blocker.
Right.
You know, so allergies, allergic reactions,
Now,
stuff like that. It's
If
a
you just
histamine.
said extra strength NyQuil,
I'm just saying
personal
what
experience makes me drowsy.
I'm just saying what he said.
Yeah.
He said as far as he and Miss Constant went, he said they were playing sex. We're playing, petting, we're playing. I'm just telling you what the transcript says. I think this is what
does
the
that mean about
transcript.
Milton Bradley?
I think that they had a relationship, and I think he was, and this is my opinion, I think he was really in love with her. I really do. Because after that incident, she left and went to Canada. And
How could you say he was in love with her?
well, because for the mere fact that when he called her,
Didn't you
when
hear
he
this say
when
had a chef and cognac?
the relationship the
playing sex, though.
relationship lasted a few years. That's one. When she left and went to Canada, he called her mother to find out what was what, and he was concerned that the mother was upset as to what happened, and he was concerned that he did not want the mother to think that he was a dirty old man, and he offered to pay for whatever the situation.
So he wants to,
And her education.
He wants to be seen as not being a dirty old man after the fireplace.
Oh, we gotta go to
and the
break?
cognac.
Okay, we gotta go to break. We'll be right back.
I thought it was new.
Friends Talk Show is sponsored in part by
Anthony Gibson, Fast Advance Funding, 215-642. Is your business in need of a 06-free? Is your business in need of a cash infusion to help your business grow? Been told no by the banks? If you've been in business at least a year and have $10,000 in gross monthly revenue, give our friend Anthony Gibson at Fast Advance Funding a chance to say yes based on the strength of your business, not your credit history. Give Anthony a call at 215-642-0686. That's Anthony Gibson, Fast Advance Funding, 215-642-0686.
Just Jazz on Saturday nights from 9 until 11 p.m. right here on Tanya Free and Friends Radio Network. Join me, Ty Bailey, as I showcase the best in jazz, current releases, reissues, and selections from past great recordings. It's all right here on Tanya Free and Friends Radio Network at TanyaFree.com. Just Jazz is also streamed 24 hours a day at Ty Bailey.
And advertising for the Tanya Free and Friends talk show and the Tanya Free and Friends Radio Network is provided by Freedom Marketing Incorporated, 844-321-1010, or email us at info@TanyaFree.com for more information.
TanyaFree.com is your destination for the best in social and political straight talk, breaking news, commentary, podcasts, music, and more. Stay in the know. Visit TanyaFree.com today.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
Welcome back to the Tanya Free and Friends talk show. I want to thank our friend Frida Johnson. The woman I was trying to think of was Janice Dickinson. Dickinson? Okay, yes. Dickinson. Yeah, she's seen. I mean, she pops up whenever there's some sort of controversy with a man or whatever. You can almost anticipate seeing her. And when she came, I'm like, no, I don't believe her at all. So, but no, I would have convicted Bill Cosby as well. And I believe some of these women. Yeah. You don't think so?
I just agree with you. I said yeah.
The way you said it, though. Okay.
Really, don't get caught up in the semantics. You got a yes. Leave it at that. Okay.
Okay. Let's go to the question. Can you hate the action of a celebrity but still love and support his or her work?
Yes.
You can?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay. I would like to say I can, but in this particular situation, I cannot. For the mere fact that just watching the Cosby Show, I would think about the things that all these women that he assaulted, and he was doing it while, he was doing the show. That, to me, I have a problem with it. Let me go.
Okay, well, you know that that Greg from the Brady Bunch and the mother in the Brady Bunch were dating, and among other things. That doesn't mean, obviously, off the set, but, would you not watch the show if you knew?
Was he convicted of something?
It's not about conviction. It's about what's going on.
Yes, it is.
It's about what's going on with them after the fact or in their private life.
Like I said, he hasn't been convicted of anything.
Okay, that's probably
this is different.
That was two adults. He wasn't a child when that happened.
I know that.
But
So what's the problem?
were there accusations?
The point I'm trying to make is there is the show, there is that thing, and then there's the private end of it. Then there's the real people. Can you separate those two? I can't.
I just said I cannot.
But I don't understand
situation.
why you brought that up in this case.
It was just
Cosby was convicted of a crime.
That's what I just said. I said that twice. Convicted. What part you not
You
hear?
have two adults that are in a.
Oh, is it like that now?
Be quiet.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay.
Be quiet. Let me go to the text.
She was playing his mother.
Sean says, "What about R. Kelly?" Now, R. Kelly, I don't listen to R. Kelly.
Wasn't he just on the cover of GQ?
I don't know.
This month or last?
Anything I see with R. Kelly on it, music, I don't listen to any
You don't
R.
like
Kelly.
R. Kelly?
I've never liked R. Kelly.
Isn't he the one that did, was it Bump and Grind or something like that?
Like, I don't know if it's Bump and Grind or
It-
anything.
it- isn't that the
I
song?
thought the brother thought he could fly.
Now
But I
he
saw him at the
can,
airport, so what that mean?
he can sing. Now, I do like that song. You're right. But that changes the dynamics for me.
Certainly does.
You know, for the mere fact that you have someone that assault women and do it with, no
did he do?
regard. I mean, or just, somewhere along the line when you need to check yourself.
Now let me.
So
wait,
no,
wait.
if two adults decide to bump and grind,
If
that's
two
okay.
adults, that's one
Adults.
thing. But I mean,
That's
okay,
the
but wait,
operative word.
okay, consent. That's the thing.
Consent also. Okay.
Consent. No, it has to be
They agree.
consent.
Yeah, they agree.
Right, because these women are women that cause one to say consent. They did not. They were drugged.
Without
But
a
I'm
doubt.
talking
totally
about the
different
R. Kelly
altogether.
case,
So what about
they're
R. Kelly?
underage.
They were underage.
Yeah.
Right. They're children.
Right, that's takes it to a whole different level as well. It's wrong.
Right.
Now, he should go to jail for that.
Oh,
Oh, he should go to jail for that. But listening to Bump and Grind, I don't know. It sounds good whenever they play it.
okay. Let me ask. Okay. All right. Okay.
You like it too.
All right. Let me.
That's a bad song.
No. How would you feel if he was bumping grind your door?
Oh, no, he had to die.
It changes the dynamics there.
Change the
That's
dynamics.
it.
Oh, it's a little
And bump
dynamic.
and grind don't sound that good then, right?
Oh, no.
No, if your daughter came home, I was R. Kelly. We want to bump and grind. Then what?
After we eliminated him, then we go back to listening to the music.
See, the thing is,
boy
I
sure
have
could sing.
with you all is that you see it from a perspective, just one-sided, opposed to it's an offense. It's wrong.
Without a doubt.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
And how is it that you all don't defend the fact that a woman is being assaulted here?
But look at the whole culture of music over the last decade or so, or even longer.
Doesn't make it right.
No.
I
I
don't
don't say
care.
it's made it right. But see, the thing is that they set a stage where, women are treated differently.
Well,
That's where
it's
I
a whole-
look at the videos again.
Look at the
I
videos.
think
where I
it's the
disagree
same.
with Fan. I
It's the
think it
same
is important.
transition that has
I
happened.
disagree with you. I think it is important what the professional life
Same
is.
trend. Thank you. The transition is the same as what we were discussing previously with, American television. Black versus white or other, and it's the same thing that has happened with music. Women are not portrayed as women. In these videos and this music.
They are
these
portrayed
same
as women. Just
Well,
women of.
a different persuasion. Okay.
Go ahead,
No,
take the head off.
no.
Take the head off your head. Let me say this. Let me tell you why.
Easily
Let me
persuaded.
tell you why I have a problem. Just a minute ago, I made the point that you all have to be careful that you all are not sucked into a situation that is false, right? I'm concerned about that. I'm not hearing that from the other side of the track from you all when we talk about women being assaulted. It's to me, it's a little more laid back. You want to talk about bump and grind and that
That
sort
was
of thing.
Van. That was Van. That wasn't
Wait.
me. I was not in agreement.
No. I'm
I was the
saying,
one
I'm
that
saying,
said,
I'm saying, take it seriously.
I can't-
What we're talking about, the
I don't separate the
allegations.
two that much. That's what I was saying.
Okay,
The personal life and the professional life. If you're, I can't just listen to your music or see you act and not think about something that you've done in real life.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Right.
I can't. To some degree, I'll watch, but and in the back of my mind, at some point,
Right. How can you
no.
separate that? For
You
the mere
can't
fact,
separate it.
especially with him interacting with children on the set.
Exactly.
I
Yes.
can't think of the little girl's name that was on the Huxtable show. Imagine him.
Raven Simone, and at the
Right.
time,
And she's. Raven Simone is a trip.
Bonet, Lisa Bonet, and the wife. Just think, even though he's playing a character, they still have to be on the set with him. And how do we know that he wasn't doing these things on the set?
We don't.
Yes,
don't.
well, exactly. We don't know.
But
that
it's
that
a
wasn't the
classic
case.
situation where he had the power, and they may have wanted something, and they had to, subject themselves to that way. That
But it's
treatment.
wrong.
Oh, I didn't say it was wrong.
It's wrong, and
But-
that's what I'm saying. Speaking out against that is what I'm saying. What he's done wrong, or what he, using his authority or power, whatever you want to call it.
So how do you hurt an individual like that?
How do you what?
How do you hurt a disciplined individual like that?
Well, with this particular situation, people are upset because he's going to jail at a late age. Well, he did the crime.
It's always a
Well, there's-
Would you
there's
take
another
Age
thing, too.
shouldn't have to
What
do
about his
anything.
money? What about his money?
Shouldn't be
He's having to
limit.
sell off a lot of his assets.
Right, because I was reading something that he was losing one of his estates or something.
Well, the one I read yesterday was about commercial property in Los Angeles. He's having to sell that pretty quickly.
Why is
So,
he having to sell that though?
Those legal bills.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Bill.
Plus-
well, no.
plus-
As the thought comes into my head.
Plus
Well,
the
he's not working
the
now.
lawsuits that's going to follow this.
Right.
Okay.
He gonna need some
He's
working
not
capital.
working. People are not going to see his shows and that sort of thing.
He has no shows.
Because early
not-
on he was still trying to do comedy shows.
He had a comedy
Right,
thing
and that wasn't working out.
scheduled. Plus the residuals that he was getting from the Cosby Show. Those aren't being that money's
Right.
not coming in anymore.
The amount of money that the amount of wealth he has acquired over his life is huge.
But look at the amount of legal.
It was estimated at 400
bill.
million. I mean, that's what I heard. 400 million.
But look at the legal, money he's had to spend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get
That's a lot.
to have to go to jail.
We know how rich
You don't think he
attorneys
should go to
are.
jail?
I
Okay.
didn't
Be
say
careful
that.
now.
I didn't say that. I said
But
the
you know how
amount that
rich
he spent
attorneys
to
are.
have to go to jail.
Now, $400 million.
Man, I'm not following you.
Sell
David.
everything.
I'm
Time,
not-
huh?
okay.
Up front.
But
Y'all
there's
having too
another.
much fun over there.
But you know
Smack
what?
him
There's
if
something
you have
else
to,
I
sure.
wanted to say about money with Bill Cosby. There is some word that he was attempting to buy NBC,
Right.
and that
That's
all
a
of
long
this
time ago.
came up in response to him to stop him from being
Now
able
that's
to do
an
it.
interest. Yeah, I've
You
heard
know
that
that
theory before.
that the powers that be did not want him to
to have a show. To have
So
Have a
let me ask this
network.
question. So let me ask this
And then what
question.
was really
Had he
interesting, though-
not been pursuing NBC,
Right, and what was
do you
really
think he would be
interesting, though-
convicted?
Wait a minute.
Do you
Maybe
think this?
not.
Do you think this would have
They-
come out in the manner that it has?
Probably, maybe not. And,
So
and they
he
also
would have
brought
been
up
able.
about
So he
Michael
would have been
Jackson,
able.
too,
So he would have
and
been able
Sony.
to. So he would have been able to just go scot free, continue to do what he's doing, and nothing would have been said. Really?
Well, hold on. Now,
So this
now-
is racial.
Now let's think about this.
Well, racial in the sense of
This,
at
this
some
is
point
American. I
you
spelled it
would
with
not
three Ks
want
for a reason. So
you probably wouldn't want a minority to be owning one of the major broadcasts. As we've talked about over the years, here. You probably wouldn't want a minority to be able to put out that much information. That would be
superficially, I think
dangerous.
what you're saying, but if I have this for sale, and you come to me and you say I want to buy that, and you got the money for it and all, now it's my choice whether or not I sell it to you.
Right.
So
Can I interject one thing though? Have you ever dealt with somebody that really doesn't need more money? I mean, somebody's so rich that it comes to you to do that and go, whatever. That's the powers that's the powers that me either. But that's the powers that you're looking at. These people don't need more money necessarily. They just
again, that
you know.
But again, if I have something to sell, if I'm trying to sell the thing and you show up with the money, now it's up to me.
But maybe
whether or
they're
not
not
I
trying to
sell
sell
it
Yeah.
to you.
All right. Well, let me read the comments because
So
I want to
that
go. I
whole
want to go.
theory of NBC
Well,
involvement.
That
that's
may
a
have
publicly
something to do
traded
with-
company too.
We're gonna go to Kanye after
Publicly
the
traded
break.
company.
So let me read the comments right
Yeah,
quick.
but-
Longtime listener in Richmond said, "All or nothing for me." Got to cut them completely. Grace said, "I can watch Cliff Huxtable, but not Bill Cosby comedy." James said, he's on the fence." Cameron said, "I have no problem separating the art from the artist." Are you next, Niles, or am I? Or let me go ahead while you get yourself together. Barney said, yes, especially in acting, actors are playing a part role. They are pretending to be someone else. They can be the opposite of what they portray. Bonita, your mother said, I guess so. Maybe I'm hypocritical, but I love The Cosby Show, and I will continue to watch because I want the other actors to still be paid. I haven't listened to R. Kelly in years. Rod said, Rod said, Cosby, LOL. Why y'all dogging him? He's a cheater, not a rapist. If those raggedy butt women were really raped by them, they wouldn't have waited 40 years to say something the moment he was trying to buy NBC and turn into the station to promote black family. All the crap dropped. How dumb people got to be to see it was, I think it's supposed to be 8 agenda. I'm not sure it's 8 or late. I'm not sure what they're trying to say. To keep
There's an agenda.
Something agenda, yeah. To keep good examples of black family unavailable, let alone a whole station, a top station also. What do y'all think about that? You agree? Think that was
To an extent,
yeah. I can
see
on the
where
women.
you would have that perspective, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Okay. We gotta go to break? Okay. Go ahead, Niles.
Okay, Jay says, is that similar to saying Hitler was a good dresser or not that bad of a painter? DL says, appreciate...
Because he wasn't known for dressing or painting. Next.
Okay. DL says, appreciate. Love is too strong a word. Evelyn says, yes, just like any other human being, we're flawed and need forgiveness. Why throw the baby out with the bathwater? Marcia says, yes, I love me some Nas. Been done with R. Kelly. Hate the works of Cosby being destroyed. Been wrote off Kanye. David says, short answer. Yes, no, or depends. People forgave Bill Clinton, but not Matt Lauer for assault and harassment reports.
That's a good point.
Rod says, dude, you know if you don't do what you're told, the elite will shit you out, no matter the race. It's about cash in the 5%.
Okay, Frida, here's your comment. Unfortunately, they are flawed like most humans. It doesn't change the fact that they are talented, which I will acknowledge. My knowledge does not mean I condone their behavior. They have to answer for their behavior like we all do. However, at some point, there is something called mercy and grace. Okay.
Yeah, I can dig it too.
Yeah, there is.
Let me say something that's kind of typical male. All right. When you have celebrity fame is the same thing. Money, so on and so on. You are married. Prior to you being married, you still have the celebrity and fame. Why?
Hurry up, we gotta go to break.
With the amount of women who would gladly hang out with you and do anything you want, so on and so on, why you got to get caught trying to like drug someone to get?
Well, I think it was. I think it was a thing with him. I think it was a thing with him because I think he got off on that for some reason because he talked about, you know, in his act he talked about Spanish Fly. Remember in many of his acts he would talk about Spanish Fly and the way he would joke about that. Okay, we got to go to Black Talk Commentary. Our friend Scotty Reed.
Free and Friends Talk Show is a presentation of Freedom Marketing Incorporated. All rights reserved. Views and comments expressed are not necessarily the views of the host and or this station.
James Comey's memoirs titled A Higher Loyalty, Truth, Lies, and Leadership hit #1 in its first week. Although Comey is portraying himself as some straight-shooting law and order man and seen as a hero of the opposition to Donald Trump, his record at the FBI shows the former Republican was very much a part of the racist culture nurtured at the FBI by one of his other former directors, J. Edgar Hoover. While J. Edgar Hoover was known to be a blatant racist who targeted black leaders, Comey has carefully crafted a public persona by invoking the name of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and mentioning how he has a copy of King's letter from a Birmingham jail. While Comey has talked about the racist past of law enforcement in the country, the record shows his loyalty has been to upholding a racist and religiously biased system. And he was not a principled leader while at the FBI unless we are talking about the principles of white supremacy. In an article published by The Intercept, professor of political science and author Janine Theoharis explores the hypocrisy of Comey's expressed disgust with the treatment of Dr. King when paired with his actions at the Bureau. Theoharis writes, despite this professed appreciation for King and his aim to right the wrongs of the Bureau's past, Comey presided over many of the same racialized tactics and assumptions in his tenure as FBI director, broadly targeting the Muslim American community, coercing informants, trafficking and racial profiling, surveilling Black Lives Matter and Standing Rock activists, and largely standing aside amid police violence and misconduct. As he hits the lecture circuit this week, feted by many across the political spectrum as the nation's conscience, we would do well to move beyond his claims of ethical leadership to his actual actions as director of the FBI.
This has been Scotty Reed of BTR News reporting. Support independent media today by giving a tax-deductible donation to the Black Talk Media Project, which has been providing public digital media since 2008.
Are you searching for the best in online black radio? Then go to blacktalkradionetwork.com, helping you filter through the noise. Real talk, black talk.
Have you checked out Tanya Free TV on Ustream? Watch our radio broadcast live and catch up on past video podcasts. Download the app or go to ustream.tv to follow Tanya Free and Friends. Stay in touch with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or text the word Tanya to 63975. Join the conversation. Tanya Free and Friends, on air, online, on point. Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
I don't think people necessarily understand what happened last week with the Great Make America Great Again hat. What are you trying to do with the message you're sending?
Well, it was really just my subconscious. It was a feeling I had, you know, like people were taught how to think, we're taught how to feel. We don't know how to think for ourselves. We don't know how to feel for ourselves. People say feel free, but they don't really want us to feel free. And I felt a freedom in, first of all, just doing something that everybody tells you not to do. I just love Trump. That's my boy. Like, you know, it's like so many rappers, you'll look at a video of Snoop Dogg loving Trump, but then he get in the office and now they don't love him. Like, Trump is one of rap's favorite people, right?
But we talk about this, that before he was elected president, people in hip-hop, it was an in thing to put Donald Trump in your rhyme somewhere.
And by the way, I am in hip-hop, but I'm not just in hip-hop. I'm a black person in the black community, but I'm not just that. I feel like one thing is people try to minimize me to artists, hip-hop, black community. Yeah, I'm always gonna represent that, but I also represent the world. When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all? You know, like, it's like we're mentally in prison. I like the word prison because slavery goes too direct to the idea of blacks. It's like slavery, Holocaust Jews, slavery is blacks. So prison is something that unites us as one race, blacks and whites being one race, that we're the human race.
Do you feel that I'm feeling, do you feel that I'm being free and I'm thinking free?
I actually don't think you're thinking anything. I think what you're doing right now is actually the absence of thought. And the reason why I feel like that is because Kanye, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to believe whatever you want. But there is fact and real world, real life consequence behind everything that you just said. And while you are making music and being an artist and living the life that you've earned by being a genius, the rest of us in society have to deal with these threats to our lives. We have to deal with the marginalization that has come from the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. Frankly, I'm disappointed, I'm appalled, and brother, I am unbelievably hurt by the fact that you have morphed into something, to me, that's not real. Bro, you gotta be responsible, man.
Bro, I'm sorry I hurt you.
You gotta be responsible.
I'm sorry I hurt you, bro.
Your voice is too big. You got.
Wow. That was an interview that Kanye did, TMZ, courtesy of TMZ, that excerpt there.
So he was in their studio,
He was in their studio, yes. And I heard that piece yesterday, and I didn't know who it was. I just happened to have the radio on, and I thought it was a comedy bit of some kind somebody was doing. Even if it still was a bad comedy bit. And then when they said Kanye, I'm like, what? I just could not believe it, and I am still trying to understand how did he come up with what? I'm speechless. A choice? Slavery was a choice, and all that other rambling he was doing.
In slight defense of him.
What?
Did you not hear the word slight in what I just said? In slight.
How do you defend that? Period.
In slight defense of him.
How is that? How is there any defense with regards to slavery?
You gonna let me go ahead?
I don't know if I can. I really don't.
In slight defense of him, he sees stuff based upon his life today. Nobody in here can imagine themselves being slaves. Could you? Really? Could you imagine that?
Okay, I'm still trying to understand how you can defend him with that statement.
Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead. Hurry up.
I would have a hard time imagining myself, or anybody in this room would have a hard time imagining himself as being a slave. He says that over 400 years, but what he's not taking into account, and then what he's, I guess, highlighting is saying the choice was, well, you got a choice. Yes, you will work for free and work to death, or we will just kill you now. That was the choice that was made. So, yeah, you did have a choice: work for free or death.
Okay,
I'm not sure I heard him articulate. If I need a lawyer, I ain't calling you.
That's right.
Don't call me.
He's
He's also thinking about it from his perspective now. No,
Right.
Tell me to bale some hay.
Okay, Van, I can't
Who
go.
the hell do you think
All right,
you are?
let me go to the phone. Go to Bert from Kentucky. Hi, Bert. How are you? Hello, Bert. You still
can you
there?
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, let's cut to the chase. That coming from TMZ is even suspect. You do your research and see who is TMZ, who's behind TMZ, and it's always the man behind the camera, always giving us this fake reality and this fake perception. What's going on with Kanye and all this. But the more things change, the more they stay the same. The hypocrites that are on Kanye's neck, instead of going to him and say, "Hey, bro, I think we need to talk to you in private. We want to blast him." And it's amazing how they still control our conversation. The whole black world is talking about Kanye, and he's laughing at you. But
let me ask you a question real quickly.
When Clinton came out and said he was the first black president, all the hypocrites that was dancing and skipping it along when he was all sitting in the hall, didn't nobody say, the hypocrites, y'all crazy, something wrong with y'all. Why are y'all saying this white man's the first black president? I mean, Democrats, when Kanye say he's mad at Bush hate black people, we was all over him. Now he said Trump's his buddy. Now we all over him. What's bad about it, Trump and him are closet liberals. And he is right. The rap world do love Trump. We know how Trump started making his money is hanging around. If you look at the research, he hung around all them black people, hung around Michael Jackson, hung around Quincy. He hung around black people now, but they give us perception that he hates black people. This is all a show, and it's pretty sad that we don't want to do our research and see what's going on.
All right, I got a question for you real quick. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
The first thing you said as far as how that all played out in the video.
I can't hear you. Speak up a little bit.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, speak up a little bit.
It almost looked like that whole thing was kind of staged because the response the guy gave was real good. It just looked a little bit not so spontaneous. I'm not saying that it was, but it just something looked not as spontaneous as it appeared to be.
I don't know. It didn't look staged to me.
I think that's our problem. We don't want to say facts of what it is. I just said it was staged. Look behind.
Okay, even if it was staged, it still was inappropriate. It should have been said was wrong.
Well, Harvey Levinson is TMZ.
I can hear you.
Harvey Levinson is TMZ. He's an attorney.
That's right. And who is he? And what's his background? Who
He's an
owns
attorney.
media? Who controls media? Who owns the sports teams? Come on now, let's stop letting these people.
Okay, well let me ask you this: even if it was staged, we should just be quiet that something like that was said and not say anything.
We know it's staged. Every night TMZ, the darker hue is on there cooning. So how he gonna be serious about something he coons every night? Come on now.
Okay.
Let's stop falling for the games. We're too old. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Brett. We appreciate your comments. Let's go to Scotty. Hi, Scotty. How are you?
Hey, how is Tanya Free and Friends today? Great show, by the way.
We hanging in there. We hanging tough.
We ain't got no candy
I
though.
want to address something that the last caller said, but then I want to Kanye explain. I don't want
Scotty, can you speak up a little bit?
Yes, can you hear me better now?
Yes, we can hear you much better. Thank you, friend.
Okay, I want to address something the last caller said. Everything ain't a stage. Everything ain't staged. TMZ, they usually ambush these celebrities with a camera and just ask them some questions off the top. Unless you're saying Kanye West participated in this scripted interview, the words that he said came out of his mouth. So if it was staged and it was a script he was following, he read the script. Okay? And so, no, this ain't fake, and we don't need to go down the rabbit holes of who owns media and who controls media and make it about some white men. This is about the words that came out of Kanye West's mouth. Kanye is free to think anything he wants, but what him and Candace Owens, his new celebrity figurehead that he likes, what they fail to understand is that how free speech works both ways. You're free to say any doggone thing that pops into your head, But then those of us who hear what you say also are free to speak on what you said. So free speech goes both ways.
Right.
If people don't want their comments
And be careful
addressed,
what you say.
then maybe he want to say, why don't we go to Kanye and have a private conversation? Well, what he has been saying on Twitter and through this interview wasn't done in private.
Right.
It was put out there publicly.
It's got to
So we want to talk about hypocrisy. Let's talk about that hypocrisy. But let me what Kanye explained. This is what I got from what he said. This is what I got. When he's saying that it was a choice, he's saying, you mean that you're going to tolerate slavery for 400 years and you're just going to keep participating?
That's what I was saying.
Tried to point out, the participation was coerced. And then people did have a choice. You know what Frederick Douglass did? He ran away. You know what Harriet Tubman did? She ran away. You know what Nat Turner did? So there are probably close to 1,000 rebellions that have happened just on this continent, not in the Caribbean, not in Brazil, in South America, where slavery was happening too, but rebellions right here on this soil, okay? And no, all black people were not enslaved. Who do you think was the black church? Shout out to the African Methodist Episcopalians out there who participated in the abolition of what I call pre-1865 slavery, being a part of the Underground Railroad.
Scotty, do me a favor. We got to go to a break. Can you hold on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Today's jazz break is Red Baron by Billy Cobham, sponsored by Hong Kong Tailors in Richmond. Take a listen.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is sponsored in part by
Hong Kong Custom Tailors is celebrating 50 years in Richmond. Visit their brand new expanded showroom, 1839 West Broad. Custom ready-to-measure suits for less than authorized suits at other retailers. Custom monogrammed shirts, pants, sports coats, overcoats, designer shoes, headwear, women's fashions, expert alterations, and more. All first-time shoppers will get a 10% discount just by saying Tanya Free sent you. Hong Kong Custom Tailors, 1839 West Broad, 359-5441.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is sponsored in part by
Furniture at the Venus. Hi, I'm Chocolate Chip, and your home is the place that says the most about who you are. Furniture at the Venus has a huge selection of styles that make a statement. Visit our showroom at 1420 Hall Street, Suite A, and check out our full line of dining room sets, living rooms, and bedroom sets, and more. Be sure to ask about our weekly Tanya Free and Friends specials on everything in the store, including king and queen mattresses, sets to fit any budget. With new arrivals daily, let Charles and Nancy Shaw show you their complete line of home furnishings and accessories. Give them a call at 804-232-3500. That's 804-232-3500. That's Furniture at the Venus, 1420 Hall Street, in the heart of Southside Richmond.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
We're going to go back to our friend Scotty. Scotty, we're back.
Yes, yes. And so, as I was saying, you know, we know over 200,000, well, some of us know, they actually read history, know over 200,000 black people, whether they were free or victims of slavery, joined the Union Army to save the United States of America and put down the Confederacy and an end to what they thought was putting an end to slavery. But of course, Tanya Free and Friends know that on Black Talk Radio, we have a show called New Abolitionist Radio to point to that 13th Amendment.
Right.
So no, slavery has not existed on this continent for 400 years. We're going on 550 years. Now, this is where Kanye was right. And I'm glad you played that entire clip. I just found out about the controversy this morning, you know, when I started checking Twitter and what have you. So thank you for playing the entire comments, because I actually agree with the last thing he said. Kanye West knows that slavery was never abolished. You know how I know he knows? because he put out a track about a year or two ago called New Slaves. And in that track, and y'all might remember it when he first debuted that album with that track was on, he was playing that song by projecting it on the sides of buildings all over the world, different parts. New Slaves is the name of the track. In that track, he specifically mentions CCA, that's that New Slavery, Correction Corporation of America, which changed its name to Core Civic. All right, so Kanye knows about that slavery was never abolished. That's what he was talking about when he said prison. He should have said prison slavery is something all Americans should be willing to rally around. And, you know, Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., who is a counter-racist author, I'm adopting his tactics when I talk about slavery. I'm not going to racialize it.
Well, let me ask
all
you
Americans
this.
are impacted by slavery, some just more than others. But when you racialize it, if I just come on and talk about black people being put into prison slavery, then we'll have those black folks like Cosby will come along and say, oh, he deserved to be in prison. He stole the pound cake. Or he deserved to get shot by the police slave catcher. He stole the cake. Or we'll get those white people like Bill O'Reilly who will say, oh, it's just in their criminal nature. You know, that's why they're locked up the most. So we take race out of it and we make it just about slavery in that 13th Amendment. So I'm with Kanye on that portion of it. I'm just not with him on the other nonsense that he has. You know, he's free to think whatever he wants, and I'm also free to disagree publicly with what he says.
I agree with you there. I agree with you. I'm not a Kanye fan and never have been and never will be. So that's just how I feel about it.
I've never given the brother an honest listen, so I can't talk about. I can't.
That's the only track I listened to. What's New Slaves?
I can't
that
tell.
Was it.
I can't tell how he's good or why he's good or anything like that. But apparently he's good.
Listen,
well, you never heard him. How can you say that?
What do you mean?
You said you never heard
about
him.
Trump in hip hop.
I never heard him.
Trump was introducing the hip hop as a celebrity figurehead, someone who represents wealth. And unfortunately, hip-hop, some of the rap songs took a turn down a road we wish they didn't go down. And it became less about the conditions of the least among us, and it became glorifying capitalism, glorifying personal
that's rap music you're talking about.
Things, having money. That's why they was talking about Trump. And I don't think that they was talking like Trump like that when Trump came out with that full-page ad. And then last thing, and I'll quit hogging up y'all airways, but thank you for allowing me to speak.
Yeah, but Snoop Dogg came out against him. I don't know what he said before, but the thing that Snoop Dogg did last year, the rap song he did, and was it like...
it was portraying the assassination of killing Trump or something like that.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure what it was he was talking about.
This is what I have to say to Kanye, my last point. Why do you like Trump when Trump supports private prisons, that prison slavery that Kanye just got through talking about? Remember, these private prison corporations put a lot of money into the Trump campaign. And when Obama was talking about reducing the federal contracts and not using prison slavery or private prison anymore, what did Trump do? He reversed that policy. So, Kanye, how can you like a man who is for something that you say you against?
Exactly. I was thinking the exact same thing, Scotty.
More than that, hold on. It's very likely that Kanye, had he not been who we know him to be-ish, would not have been able to rent an apartment from Donald Trump, because why?
Exactly.
All right. You know.
Scotty, tell everybody listen to your show, friend.
Please tune in where you can hear about this new slavery America been practicing for 150 years by way of the 13th Amendment. New Abolitionist Radio airs Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on BlackTalkRadioNetwork.com. Peace and blessings. Y'all have a
Same to you. Likewise,
great
friend.
day.
Thank you so much for calling. I appreciate your comments always. Somebody was saying something with regards to, you said you can understand what Kanye was saying, that slavery was a choice.
Yes, it was a choice. You either comply,
you really think that?
You either comply with what I say do, or I'm killing you. You got a choice.
You really think that?
I know that.
Based on
know
what?
That.
Based on what?
Work for free and live, or die right now. That's the choice you had that was made, period. How you don't see that? Or you trolling me again?
No, I'm still trying to understand something you said during the break. I'm not going to tell the audience what you said, but this is even... No,
Does anybody, let's say bad choices? Choices that's not really worth, that's not a choice?
So they had a choice.
Yes, you can either work for free or you can die. That's it. That's it.
Well, Scotty just said slavery hasn't ended, so...
It has not ended. He also said that it was about coercion. That slavery, that to continue to do it, now you're participating in coercion. Now you're playing the game with it. So, if you've made the choice to live, then this is going to be your fate. If you're not cool with that, then you get killed right now.
I'm having a hard time.
I am too. I am too.
Like I said, I just try to process those two lack of choices, really.
Oh, no. There is a choice.
No.
Live and work to death or be killed right now.
No.
That's it.
No, those aren't choices. Those are circumstances, but those aren't choices.
Yes, no, it's a choice.
No.
If I want to rob you and I have a gun in my hand, I can come up with 10,000 analogies. If I want to rob you and I have you at gunpoint, you got a choice to make. You can give me your money or I'll
the reason
kill
I have
you.
a problem with that because we didn't choose to come to this country and be subjected to that sort of abuse.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So
Which
how is
brings
it
us back to the
you
choice
were brought here and to this country and to this abuse against your will?
That's
so
right.
how is that a choice?
The choice is I'm gonna kill you now. You're gonna work to death. Which do you want? Okay.
No.
We can agree to disagree.
I can't go with you on that. In that
it's
manner,
after
no.
the
That's
fact.
okay.
So the thing is that once you're enslaved, then there is a choice. But what you're dealing with
Okay,
is
but wait a minute. What you just said, you're enslaved before you even get here to survive.
No.
You're already enslaved. You're enslaved.
We're
But
going
wait a
to
minute. But
to his point, you're enslaved, and so he's finding the choice once you're enslaved. Now you're dealing with another.
Do I want to come here and be that? You didn't know. They didn't know what they were coming to be.
did I want? They didn't. Right. Exactly.
They
They
didn't
didn't
have
know
the choice to get
what.
on the boat.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
No,
They didn't.
They already had changed when they were
That's
led
right.
to the boat.
So you're enslaved at that point.
Yeah.
And you're rebuking to come to this country.
Now, did some of those people who were enslaved, did they end up jumping off the boat and drowning to death because they didn't want to go? They didn't know what they were going towards, but they knew it wasn't going to be good. But again, you had a choice.
So either
you
way,
get here and you work for free
Slavery,
and you die.
slavery was an institution.
That's right.
That how on earth can you say we had a choice?
Because you could have either done what you were told to do or get killed.
It was
That's
an
the choice.
institution. We were forced. It was against our will.
You can either do what they say to do or you can die. That's the choice. And what Kanye's talking
It's not
about
a choice.
is how come,
It's not a choice.
how come this thing went on
Look,
for so
I don't care
long?
how you slice it and dice it. It's not a choice.
Okay.
It's not.
We can
I
agree
can't
to
go.
disagree.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Well, that's fine.
Somebody give me a drink.
So maybe. So are we
Somebody
talking
give me a
about,
drink.
you know,
And a Hershey
maybe-
bar.
Do we digress to say that maybe it's the slave mentality, perhaps maybe somewhere in there, or it's just a choice that is not really a choice? Because I'm a little lost.
Well, I think at the end
You have
of
a
that
choice.
interview is what
Die immediately or work
Scotty
Well, let me
was
tell you why
talking about
those words
how
are
we-
dangerous. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Marcus.
I think at the end of the interview, I hate to say this, and Scotty, if I'm wrong, you know, I think what you're referring to and what R. Kelly was referring to is how we still have a slave mentality today.
Who
All right?
said that? What?
Kanye, at the end of it, it was something he was talking about how, you know, we subject ourselves to certain things today.
So is it the mindset and the
that's
behavior?
the
Is that what
mindset
we're
and
talking about?
behavior. Okay, yeah, mindset,
That, now,
behavior.
from that standpoint, that's
Now,
a choice.
That's a choice.
That's a
That
choice.
is
That's a
right.
different thing.
That's
If
a different
that's
thing.
the
That's a
perspective.
choice.
initial
If
statement
your
that he
mindset
made-
is such that you still think that you are enslaved to whatever, that's your choice because you don't have
that
to.
That initial statement that he made is totally out of space. It's wrong.
Right.
All right. Now, if you want to explain yourself more and say that that's what you're heading for, you put that at the beginning of the conversation. Don't make it like a shock statement like that.
Provide some clarity.
Yes.
You know, on where you're going and what direction. You know,
Right.
because
Right.
if it's about a slave mentality, then that's a different topic altogether.
That's a totally different topic. It
Yeah.
should have came up at the beginning of that conversation.
Well,
And I also don't agree that you get ambushed by whoever the announcer was, whether it's TMC or someone else, you have to be aware of the words that's coming out of
Be
your
responsible, right. Be responsible
Aware
whether
and
whether it was
responsible.
staged or not.
Staged or not.
For the mere fact that you're going to have somebody that's going to throw that back at us and say, oh, y'all weren't enslaved, y'all had a choice. What?
Right.
That's the problem I have with what he said. And like you said, wherever he was going with that.
And his mentality is based upon his experience
it's
now.
Dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Because he couldn't imagine himself being that way because he's never. Again, can you imagine yourself?
Was he born into privilege? If you want to really dissect this,
there's not a point of whether you can imagine yourself a slave or not,
Right.
because there were people that looked like me that they came over here in chains.
That's right. He said, "How
So,
can this go on
it's
for
not
400 years? How could this go on that long?"
Was he born into privilege? That would be the
There had
question.
to be some sort
don't know
of
anything
complicity.
But here's the thing about being born. Here's the thing about being in privilege.
That's what he. That's a.
We're going to have to agree to disagree that slavery was not a choice. I got the last word. It's Tanya Free and Friends. We'll be right back.
And that's glad.
Goes out to everyone that has lost someone that they truly love. Come on, check it out. Seems like yesterday we used to rock the show. I laced the track, you locked the flow. So far from hanging on the block for dough. Notorious, they got to know that life ain't always what it seemed to be. Words can't express what you mean to me. Even though you're gone, we still a team. Through your family, I'll fulfill your dreams. In the future, can't wait to see if you open up the gates for me. Reminisce sometime. The night they took my friend. Try to black it out, but it plays again. When it's real, feeling's hard to conceal. Can't imagine all the pain I feel. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death.
Every move I make, every single day, every time I pray, I'll be missing you. Thinking of the day when you went away. What a life to take, what a bond to break. I'll be missing you.
It's kinda hard with you not around. Know you in heaven smiling down, watching us while we pray for you. Every day we pray for you, till the day we meet again. In my heart is where I keep you, friend. Memories give me the strength I need to proceed, strength I need to believe. My thoughts big, I just can't define. Wish I could turn back the hands of time. Us in the six, shop for new clothes and kicks. You and me taking flicks, making hits, stages they receive you on. Still can't believe you're gone. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you still living your life after death.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is sponsored in part by
Marion Marketing Global. You know those guys over at Marion Marketing Global? They can do everything from billboards to bus signs. Marion Marketing Global, changing the world and expanding your brand every day, each day. Marion Marketing Global, 804-938-5218. Check us out on the web at marionmarketingglobal.com.
This is Tanya Free. Summer can be a difficult time for families of youth with behavior problems. Many kids with behavior problems just cannot make it in a traditional daycare or summer camp. But there is an option. Call my friends over at the Metropolitan Day School today, 804-321-2595, to see if your elementary or middle school age child is eligible. Breakfast, lunch, and transportation provided. Limited slots. First come, first serve. Call Miss Thomas today, 804-321-2595. The Metropolitan Day School, where Eagles soar.
There's so many ways to listen at Peachtree Radio FM. Go to rsgame.org, download the RS Game web client while playing your game. Press Control B and arrow down to Peachtree Radio FM. Also, dial the telephone number 641-552-5194. Download the Peachtree Radio FM app from the App Store and Google Play Store. Listen at Peachtree Radio FM on TuneIn Radio, iBlink Radio, and the new website, PeachtreeRadioFM.net. There's so many ways to listen at Peachtree Radio FM. Well, some listen to remember and some listen to forget.
Head rush, past the Buddha sack and get your head bust. Gotta have the chronic every day cause I'm a weed lust. Taking my step will be a giant step. Might have to zigzag and you don't wanna test the rap. Yep, low key is who I be, a Buddha smoking MC. To the day of my death, can I get a cess?
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
I raised the question as to if you were enslaved then, would you make the choice to freedom?
And my joke answer to it was based on the fact that I'm light-skinned. I'd be in the house XYZ. So then now when I turn this into, oh, so you one of them. Yes, I'm in the house. But
define what one of them. Now, I said one of them would be you. You would be the Negro to be talking about all the rest of us Negroes in the field.
You know they going down to the river to get away tonight.
So that'd be the choice you make. Okay, gotcha.
Y'all
heard that. Everybody heard that.
That is not who I am. But what you all fail to realize, about like Uncle Tom's cabin, if I'm in the house, I have access to stuff that you all can't get to. Like broken glass. Like poison, like that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm trusted.
See what? All right, so that means I can't have it, but it's sure can't.
So I'm trusted. So that allows me to
I can't separate the image. I can't separate the image of him being in the house and telling him almost. I can't separate that. So this is Van's last shirt about it.
If I can do something to get rid of Massa, in that case, sure.
Oh gosh,
because I'm locked in there too.
Van, you have showed yourself today, friend.
I've not showed myself
yes, you
so
have.
much as I've shown you to
who
look
you
at
really
this stuff
are.
a little bit deeper than just
who you
the
really are.
superficial.
Okay, this is Van's last show. We understand you. I can't separate.
Your inability to separate the two is not.
No, not separate you being the house, what you just said, Negro, and everything, and telling on me being a house field.
Hold on. I didn't say I was going to do such a thing. That's your perception.
See, the fact that you said that you wouldn't do it. Okay, let
really. Oh, so now we with the
I'm just joking with you. Let's go to the phone to Marquise. Hello, how are you?
How you doing, Tanya?
We're doing okay. We're hanging in there.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I called in last week.
Yes, you did.
I want to thank y'all for the opportunity. I think you had asked about the show. The show is Tracy McLean and Marquise Trent Show. We come on Fridays, 105.3, 7 to 8 p.m.
Okay.
I appreciate that. And I definitely would like to share a little bit about this situation and my personal perspective. I think a matter of this was set in my heart. Now, I never really hear y'all talk about what we would call religion, and I totally understand because just like politics, everybody has their opinion and their perspective. But even if we can look at a historical aspect, because I believe that everybody has some form of quote-unquote religion, whether or not, they choose to really show it to people. And I wondered for a long time in my heart, like, God, why is it that blacks have it the hardest out of everybody on the planet? And I believe I finally got my answer. And to me, my personal opinion is that when I see these type of situations, people don't really talk about the root.
Marquise, let me ask you a question. So where are you going with this with regards to what we're talking about?
Are you light skinned?
Why? Because I think that blacks, we're so emotional because of our pain. Like, a lot of times we're not even logically looking at the reality of the things that take place regarding us. We're just so emotional. As soon as somebody pokes that wound,
Okay, so let me ask this question. What do you think about what Kanye said?
I think it was a foolish statement to make, given the understanding of what's going on with our people. You understand what I'm saying? Like you say, a person that has a platform, you have to be very careful about what you say. But up until this point, no, I think there is still a level of slavery going on. But my question is,
okay, so how do we deal with that?
What are we really willing to do about it?
Say what?
What are we really willing to do about it?
What do you suggest?
Well, again, I look at it from a spiritual aspect. And that is, if the blacks, because I don't hear this taught a lot, and if I do, it comes from the black Hebrew Israelites, which preach hate. My perspective is, if we are God's chosen people, a large portion of us, then the only true answer is going to be to turn back to the God of the Bible. Then that takes a point that's willing to humble yourself enough to let go of racism.
But also, too, the Bible says faith without works is dead. So what are we going to do? Faith without works is dead. So what are we going to do?
But what does that mean? Faith without works is
that
dead.
means we need to do something. Action. That's what that means. You can pray, but it has to be some action to go along with it.
But see, that's kind of my point, Tanya. Like, before I even expounded, you came back with a rebuttal.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, Marcus, thank you for calling. We appreciate your comments. We're almost out of time. I want to get to one other story before we go. I read this article that caught my attention. There were some black customers in Toronto, and they were in a restaurant. They were celebrating a birthday, and they were asked to pay before they received their order. And as a result of that, the gentleman and one of the gentlemen in the group, they were African American, in the group went around asking other patrons if they were asked to pay before receiving their meal, and they were not.
Well, hold on. First of all, they were not African Americans. Let me get that straight.
Who was not?
The gentlemen here were not African American.
According to what I have right here, it says African American.
Weren't they from Trinidad and Tobago?
Like I said, they said African American. That's what the article says.
But in Canada.
Look, I don't know what they were.
Well, just making people of color.
Okay, to get to the point.
Anyway, they will be, the restaurant has to pay them. And my question is, have you all ever been approached where you have to pay for your meal before you get your order?
First of all, a buddy of mine has worked with Chinese folks. They're extremely racist. Extremely. Like, to the point where one guy...
Again, making a general statement.
Hold on.
I work with Chinese people. Some are and some aren't.
Okay.
Right, and I didn't say
get away.
Well, let me say this. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything about
China.
I didn't say anything about Chinese. I said restaurant overall.
But this was at a Chinese restaurant.
I understand
that. That into the equation.
No, you don't have to. Look, I've read other stories, doing some research.
Don't go to like the whole Denny's with the FBI stuff. That is not that shocking to hear at a Chinese restaurant.
Well, let's go back to Starbucks.
No,
yes, you can, because they were asked to leave because they hadn't ordered anything.
They were asked to leave because they hadn't.
So had they yes, go back, go to your phone and read the story.
These people were required to pay before they ate.
Right, exactly. Let me go to the phone. Ethia from South Carolina. Hey, friend, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
I just wanted to raise one question with regard to Kanye's
statement
of slavery was a choice. First, well, it's 2 points. One is that the Haitian Revolution, if we put it into historical context, why was the Haitian Revolution a successful alternative? That's number one. And the second, and I may have forgotten it just that quickly. Oh, the line from the last poet: "Blessed are those who struggle. Oppression is worse than the grave." So, you know, sometimes people say things that on its face may not make sense, but even more than that, makes us uncomfortable. I think that those two references that I've thrown out, and I know you're at the end of your time, but I would urge people to look at what he said in a more in-depth kind of way.
Okay. So let me just ask this, because I'm not sure if I'm following you. So you think what he said was okay, or am I missing it?
Well, you know what I think that it was something that he said off the top of his head. You know, just because people have mental health problems doesn't mean that what they say isn't true. And what we view or call mental health problems are usually those things that are said unguardedly, that do not respect what we consider the civil norms. That's why some of us view Trump as insane. So it's not a question of whether it's okay or not. The question, it seems, is whether or not he made a point that we ought to be considering as opposed to responding to or reacting to.
Well, I guess the problem I have with him saying that is that you give folks that want to not acknowledge slavery, or folks that want to say, oh, see, you all weren't enslaved, and we know those folks we're talking about. I think he gave them what they need, the ammunition that they would now be using to deny slavery was actually real institution. So that's the problem. That's the problem I have with him saying.
And that's the thing that makes us feel uncomfortable. That's a part of what makes us feel uncomfortable about it. But the truth of the matter is we cannot prevent ourselves from finding the truth for fear of what our enemies are going to say. Because if they didn't say that, they would be saying something else. And what's more, since when does some rapper get to be an authority on political science, social science, psychology, and all of the substantive indicia of the actual fact of the existence of chattel slavery and its continuing impact, and has no bearing on our entitlement to reparations, none whatsoever.
Ifia, thank you for your comments, friend. We appreciate it.
His opinion wouldn't even hold up in a court of law. It wouldn't even be considered as any kind of opinion to be presented.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments, friend. We are out of time.
Thank you.
Okay, be good. As always, I thank God, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing us the opportunity to speak and hopefully heard. Thanks to our listening friends. Blessings to each and every one of you, and of course, thanks to Sherrod, Marcus, Dr. West, Van, Frida, Liam, Niles, Noah, Marcus, and Mr. Free. I'm Tanya Free. Until next time, be free. And remember to live life with a purpose.
I'm sick and tired of the rat race. On a rocket ship, no time to wait. I just want to gravitate. It's out of sight. It's out of sight. It's out of sight. It's out of sight. It's gone. It's gone.
Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is a presentation of Freedom Marketing Incorporated. All rights reserved. Views and comments expressed are not necessarily the views of the host and or this station.